The galactic archives were less a place and more a presence, a silent, shimmering network of interconnected nodes that drifted in the void between galaxies, tended by the Keepers, an ancient, ethereal species who had long ago transcended physical bodies for forms of pure energy. The Keepers were the memory of the universe, patient chroniclers of rising and falling civilizations. To them, Earth, designated Sol 3, was classified as a Class G garden world, protected status. Its dominant species, humanity, was catalogued as nascent, emotionally volatile, technologically adolescent, showing minor but unpredictable innovative surges. The Keepers believed humans were fragile, a young species slowly finding its way, nurtured within a surprisingly stable solar system, seemingly shielded by an unknown, ancient mechanism that deflected major interstellar threats. This mechanism was a curiosity, but not a primary concern. The archives held records stretching back eons, including data from countless extinct precursor races. It was from these deep, seldom accessed archives that the first anomaly emerged. A wave of exotic radiation, a byproduct of a distant magnetar collision, washed through this sector of intergalactic space. Most precursor artifacts, their data storage mediums already decaying over millions of years, experienced accelerated degradation. Their faint signals winked out, their knowledge lost to the entropy of time. But not all of them. Archivist Prime Thuron 9, a consciousness whose luminous form pulsed with the calm light of accumulated knowledge, first noted the discrepancy. Within a vast repository of data attributed to a species known only as the Crathen, or more ominously in fragmented translations, the Warrior Echo, something strange was happening. While other precursor data blocks faded, the Crathen archives, specifically those detailing their martial philosophies, their bioengineered warriors, and their astonishingly potent energy weaponry, were not only resisting the radiation, but seemed to be resonating. Their signal strength, impossibly, was faintly increasing. And more disturbingly, these faint Crathen signals were pulsing in a rhythmic pattern that, when cross-referenced with stellar cartography, showed an undeniable harmonic alignment with telemetry from the Sol system, specifically with Earth. "This is irregular," Thuron 9 communicated to its fellow Keepers, its thought form rippling with a rare flicker of disquiet. The Crathen data matrices, believed inert for over 3 million cycles, are exhibiting unexpected energy coherence. They are resonating with the Sol 3 system. The Crathen were a dark legend in the deepest archives, a species that had blazed across the galaxy in an age before most current civilizations had even crawled from their primordial ooze. They were described in fragmented, terrified whispers from other, long-dead races as beings of unparalleled ferocity, masters of total warfare, a species that had nearly sterilized 1,000 sectors before vanishing as suddenly as they had appeared. Their technology was myth, their psychology a horrifying enigma. Most believed them self-annihilated in some ultimate, cataclysmic conflict. Their surviving data was considered a dangerous curiosity, a study in cosmic pathology. Thuron 9 delved deeper. The Crathen were not just warriors, they were innovators of destruction. Their adaptability was terrifying, their capacity for strategic thinking legendary. They didn't just conquer, they consumed, absorbing and repurposing the technologies of their victims with horrifying speed. The Keepers had always assumed their extinction was a blessing for the universe. The resonant signals from the Crathen archives pulsed, a slow, rhythmic heartbeat. Thuron 9 initiated a deep comparative analysis, focusing on the unique energy signature of this resonance and cross-referencing it with the extensive, though mostly passive, sensor logs the Keepers maintained on Earth. For centuries, the Keepers had observed humanity's chaotic, rapid development. Their sudden leaps in technology, their inexplicable bursts of aggression, followed by periods of astonishing creativity and compassion. Humans were a paradox, capable of profound cruelty and breathtaking altruism, often in the same generation. The Keepers had classified this as nascent species volatility. As Thuron 9 consciousness sifted through terabytes of comparative data, a pattern began to emerge. Subtle genetic markers, previously dismissed as junk DNA in the human genome, showed startling structural similarities to fragmented Crathen biosignatures. Human neurological pathways, particularly those associated with aggression, problem-solving under duress, and rapid pattern recognition, echoed Crathen cognitive models described in the resonating data blocks. The unpredictable innovative surges in human technology. They often mirrored, in primitive form, theoretical Crathen scientific principles. A dawning horror, cold and vast, began to coalesce within Thuron 9 luminous form. It was a hypothesis so monumental, so terrifying, that it threatened to destabilize the Keeper's serene understanding of the galactic order. The resonance, Thuron 9 broadcast to the silent council of Keepers, its light flickering with unprecedented urgency. It is not an external phenomenon. It is an echo. The Crathen data is not just pointing to Earth. It is recognizing Earth, or rather, what is on Earth. The pieces clicked into place with the chilling finality of a death knell. The humans were not a new species, tenderly nurtured in a galactic garden. They were the Crathen, or more accurately, their direct, albeit amnesiac, descendants. The garden world of Earth wasn't a cradle designed to protect fragile infants. It was a quarantine zone, a prison. The ancient, unknown mechanism shielding Sol was not a benevolent guardian. It was a containment field, a colossal suppressor designed to keep the Crathen humanity dormant. Their memories, their full capabilities, their galaxy-shattering ferocity, all of it had been locked away, suppressed by some unimaginably powerful means, perhaps by the Crathen themselves in a final, desperate act of cosmic penance, or by an alliance of their last victims. Suddenly, human history looked different. Their inexplicable wars, their rapid cycles of societal collapse and stunning rebirth, their relentless curiosity and drive to expand, these weren't the fumblings of a young race. They were the muted, distorted echoes of a terrifyingly potent lineage, the slumbering giant stirring in its sleep. Human aggression was the Crathen warrior spirit straining against its chains. Human, rapid innovation was the ghost of Crathen hyperadaptability, forcing its way through the cognitive dampeners. The celestial anomaly, the magnetar's radiation, wasn't just degrading other archives. It was subtly interfering with the ancient suppression field around Earth. The Crathen data wasn't just resonating. It was faintly awakening, nudged by the weakening of the shackles that had bound it for millennia, and it was calling to its lost children. The containment protocol, another keeper, Lyrazen, pulsed, her form dimming with dread. The Sol system's protective shield. Its energy signature matches theoretical Crathen null fields, devices designed not for protection, but for large-scale sensory deprivation and cognitive suppression. They quarantined themselves, or they were quarantined. The "oh shit" moment resonated through the collective consciousness of the Keepers with the force of a supernova. The fragile, nascent humans they had so benignly catalogued were the dormant remnants of the most terrifying warrior species the galaxy had ever known. The cradle was a cage. The children were slumbering titans. The implications were existential. The Keepers had spent eons believing humanity needed protection. Now they realized the galaxy needed protection from humanity, or at least from what humanity could become if their full heritage was unlocked. Panic, an emotion the Keepers had not collectively experienced for millions of years, rippled through their ethereal forms. "What are the current readings from the soul suppression field?" Thuron 9 demanded. "Weakening," came the grim reply from a specialist keeper. "The magnetar radiation is causing cascading decay in its primary harmonics. It is failing, slowly but undeniably." And the human subjects. Increased global unrest, spikes in anomalous technological breakthroughs, heightened psionic resonance readings, faint but growing, particularly in individuals exhibiting what they term high creativity or intense ambition. They are restless. The Keepers faced an impassable dilemma. Option 1. Attempt to reinforce the suppression field. But how? Its technology was Crathen, far beyond their own capabilities to replicate or repair. Interfering could make things worse, could shatter the field catastrophically, or worse, selectively awaken the most dangerous Crathen traits. Option 2, warn the galaxy. But what would that achieve? Mass panic. Preemptive strikes against Earth by terrified younger races, an act that could inadvertently trigger the very awakening they sought to prevent. If a cornered, half-awakened Crathen remnant lashed out, the consequences were unthinkable. The cure could be worse than the disease. Option 3, do nothing. Observe. Pray that the suppression field held long enough for humanity to, what? Evolve beyond its Crathen nature. But the evidence suggested the Crathen were not something to be evolved from, but a core part of what it meant to be human, merely suppressed. Pray that humanity, if it reawakened, would somehow be different this time, a benign Crathen. The concept was laughably, terrifyingly naive. The archives, once a place of serene contemplation, became a hub of frantic, terrified debate. The keepers, guardians of galactic memory, now felt like wardens of a forgotten doomsday weapon, its timer suddenly, unexpectedly reactivated. Earth Sol 3 was reclassified in the deepest, most secure vaults of the galactic archives, no longer Garden World protected status. Its new designation was stark: Crathen Echo Site, Class Omega existential threat, containment failing. The legends of the Crathen, once dusty historical footnotes, were now studied with chilling immediacy. Their capacity for sympathetic destruction, where even their non-combatant elements could rapidly militarize with terrifying efficiency. Their innovation cascades, where one breakthrough could trigger a dozen more in unrelated fields, leading to exponential technological leaps. Their unity cry, an ability to forge unbreakable collective will in times of extreme crisis, turning entire populations into extensions of a single, terrifying purpose. The Keepers saw faint, distorted reflections of all these traits in human history and current events. Humanity, blissfully unaware, continued its chaotic journey, squabbling over resources, reaching for the stars with a strange mixture of hope and aggression, all while the forgotten fire of a billion suns slept fitfully within their very souls. The Keepers watched, no longer with detached academic interest, but with the profound cosmic dread of beings who had stumbled upon a truth that could unravel the galaxy. The universe was not as it seemed, and the most dangerous creature in it didn't even know its own name. Earth was no longer a quaint experiment. It was a forgotten powder keg with a slowly eroding fuse, and the Keepers could only watch, wait, and wonder what would happen when the slumbering echoes of a warrior past finally, fully, awoke. The faint, rhythmic pulse from the Crathen data blocks continued its song, a lullaby for a monster, or perhaps a reveille.